About Osama bin Laden, exact details about his death and how he was tracked down are still trickling out. Joined now in our central London studio by Nabila Ramdani, a journalist specialising in Islamic studies who has interviewed one of bin Laden's former bodyguards. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on Sky News. What did the bodyguard say about whether or not Osama bin Laden would have accepted being taken alive?
Well, when his former bodyguard learnt about bin Laden's death, he was most saddened at the loss, and he described him as an unrivaled leader of man. But he was most perturbed by the conditions in which bin Laden had died, and it took him right back in time to a cave in Afghanistan where bin Laden was hiding, and his bodyguard was with him. And he recalled a moment when it was in August 1988, and Al-Qaeda had just attacked 2 US embassies in Africa. So bin Laden was very much a hunted man, and he called in his bodyguard and told him, he pulled out a revolver with 2 bullets in the chamber, and he handed it to his bodyguard, and he told him, if the Americans encircle me, I certainly do not want to die in a cell, in a prison cell in the US, and I would like you to kill me before they get me. And he also added that he certainly didn't want to end up as a prisoner. He wanted to die as a martyr, but not end up in a prison. So when his bodyguard learned about the details about bin Laden's death, he was most perturbed, and his first thought was that his former boss it seemed that he had got his wish, but he was also happy that he personally didn't have to pull the trigger.
So bin Laden basically had wanted to die a martyr. Does that mean that the bodyguard feels that the US has scored something of an own goal in that sense?
Oh, very much so. I mean, the bodyguard had, although he was very loyal to bin Laden, he also didn't agree on the basis of bin Laden's values. His bodyguard didn't believe that jihad was about killing innocent civilians. But as far as bin Laden's end is concerned, it's certainly something which suited, if I may say so, bin Laden, as he certainly didn't want to end up as a captive.
What would the reaction be in the Muslim world, Islamist world, if the US were to release a photo of bin Laden? Did you manage to talk to him about that?
Absolutely, and I also, of course, talked to an awful lot of people in that part of the world, and the perception is that the fact that the Americans were disposed of the body straight away by throwing it in the sea, as it were, was...
Just clarify that, Nabila. Let's not be inflammatory. They said that it was a proper Muslim service.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the details about how this was all carried out are still coming. But the idea behind the disposal of the body at sea was to prevent a shrine from being erected, or certainly a place of pilgrimage dedicated to bin Laden's followers, hardcore supporters. But if the Americans were now to release a picture of bin Laden's, or very graphic pictures of how he ended his life, it would certainly defeat the purpose, as it will surely and most definitely turn him into a martyr, and dare I say, it will be very distasteful. The perception is that the Americans will be perceived just as tribal and insensitive as Muslim radicals.
Okay, Nabila Ramdani, thank you very much indeed for joining us.